All right.
I'm very proud to be here this evening to introduce to you all Mr. Bernard Kerik. He did not just decide to talk about the need for criminal justice and prison reform. He is following this decision with action. It is a privilege to be here, to be able to be here tonight, and I've been in and out of jail most of my adult life, caught up in the throes of drug addiction. 8.5 months ago, I exited jail and took residence at a homeless shelter. Determined that I was going to change my life, but my roommate was already an active member of O.A.R, and he spoke glowingly about the staff's commitment to assisting returning citizens in having success in society. Upon my initial intake interview, I was welcomed with the feeling that yes, we can be a success. I followed the suggestions the staff made and realized for myself that they really do care. That really meant a lot to me. I'm an active participant in the O.A.R advocacy group and participate in several classes they offer in communications and financial management. In these groups, we are encouraged to examine our inner thoughts and feelings with each other. I get encouragement from these groups because the O.A.R staff reminds us to focus on presenting ourselves as positive parts of society. Just 2 weeks ago, I started my college career at Nova. Working towards getting my associates in information technology and subsequently transferring to George Mason to get my bachelor's in computer science. I did not have these aspirations 8.5 months ago, but because of the inspiration, motivation, and encouragement showered upon me by the O.A.R staff, I'm ready to jump into society and have a positive effect. Okay. And I'm speaking out wherever I get a chance to tell people that everyone deserves a second chance. That's right. We have all come here tonight to hear Bernard Kerik talk about what he discovered going through the criminal justice system and serving 3 years in a federal prison. Many of you know that he started his criminal justice in 1986 when he joined the New York City Police Department. He moved over to the U.S. Justice Department's New York Drug Enforcement Task Force in 1991. For close to 6 years, Mr. Kerik served as first deputy and later commissioner of the New York City jail system, including Rikers Island. In 2000, he was appointed police commissioner of the city of New York and was in this position when the New York Towers came down in 2001. Many of you probably saw him on television standing by Governor Giuliani as he helped the city deal with such a huge tragedy. In December 2004, President Bush nominated Mr. Kerik as Secretary of the new Department of Homeland Security. A week later, Mr. Kerik withdrew his name from consideration after admitting that he had failed to pay payroll taxes for his child's nanny. 5 years of state and federal investigations followed. Mr. Kerik pled guilty to false statements and tax charges. He was sentenced to 48 months in prison, which he served in the federal prison in Cumberland, Maryland, and he is still on probation. I tell you these things because his credentials for the work he has set out to do. These experiences qualify him to speak about the need for reforms in both our criminal justice system and the prison system. He has a unique perspective, and rather than keep quiet about his experience, he is willing to stand up to this stage and talk to us, to those in power, about what he has learned and what must be changed. He is a very courageous man to speak out, though he is still on probation. I'm reminded of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate test of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and moments of convenience, but where he stands in moments of challenge and moments of controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Mr. Bernard Kerik.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Everybody
everybody hear me up there?
Yes.
Can't see anybody. I love that flag. I love the Constitution it represents. I love the country it represents. I have fought for it and defended it for many, many years. I have nearly died for that flag more times than I can count. I love what it represents. The country. And I think in some way, we, the country, have lost our way when it comes to our criminal justice and prison systems. As David mentioned when he was up here introducing me, I've had a pretty diverse career in law enforcement. I've been a cop, a correction officer, a warden of a county jail. I've been a detective. I've been a drug agent. I have run two of the largest law enforcement agencies in the country. The New York City Department of Correction, Rikers Island, we averaged about 133,000 inmate admissions a year, 16 facilities, 13,000 staff members, and $1 billion budget. The NYPD, 55,000 strong, a $3.2 billion budget. One of the greatest law enforcement agencies in the world, the greatest municipal agency in the world. I've been in this business a long time, and I know how the systems work. I know what they're supposed to accomplish, and I know how to fix them. When I took over Rikers Island in 1994 as the first deputy, 1995, we averaged 150 stabbings and slashings per month. We were spending $112 million a year in overtime. We had major assaults on staff. It was one of the most mismanaged and devastating prison or jail systems in our country. Over 6 years, I reduced inmate-on-inmate violence by 93%, reduced overtime spending by half, and I accomplished more than anybody ever imagined. I know how to fix the system. The system was broken, and I fixed it. Unfortunately, in 2004, after I was nominated for Secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, I had to decline, and over the next several years, ran into my own legal problems, which came to a crashing standstill in 2010 when I walked into a federal minimum security prison camp in Cumberland, Maryland.